Okay. Good evening. This is Jory Vandenberg, the 388 Fighter Wing historian. I'm conducting interviews of various members of the 388th Bombardment Group Heavy. They're having their 63rd annual association reunion at Savannah, Georgia. Today is 30 August 2012. And the individual I'm beginning to do my interview is
Rolland Eugene Sears.
Okay, Mr. Sears, what was your hometown before you joined the military?
Richmond, California.
Richmond, California. And when you first joined up with the Army Air Forces, what was your job? What was your rank, and what was your job?
When I first entered the...
Yes, sir. When you first entered.
Well, I entered as a cadet, you know,
Okay.
and from there became eventually a second lieutenant.
Okay, because what was your position in the Air Force, Army Air Forces? What was your job?
I was a pilot.
Okay, you're a pilot. All right, that's
Yeah.
what I was trying to get to. So you're a pilot, and of course all pilots are officers. And so you came in as a cadet. Where was your cadet training?
Most of it was in the South, starting out in, can't recall exactly the exact time or date of it, but most of it was in Florida.
Okay. Do you remember what
primary was in Lakeland, Florida.
Do you remember what year that was?
Yes, I think it was in a little piece of paper here.
Okay.
Let's see if I've got that down here. I think it started in December of 1942.
Okay. December 42, you went down into the Lakeland area of Florida?
Well, you get inducted, you know, and it's all
Okay.
goes through Monterey, Camp Han, you know, and then
Okay.
yeah.
But your preliminary...
My preliminary basic training
Okay.
was started in Lakeland, Florida.
Okay. December of 1940...
Well, that would have been by that time in January or
Okay.
some other time.
All right.
Maybe
Okay.
maybe February or so.
All right. And so you went to basic pilot school?
Yes.
And then from there you went to bomber school?
I went to
Okay.
training on multi-engine.
Multi-engine. Okay.
In Montgomery, Alabama.
Alrighty.
I believe it was.
All right.
And then in Tampa, Florida, we were introduced into the 4-engine B-17 bomber.
Okay. All righty. And then how long did you train in that B-17 flying out of Tampa?
Golly, I can't recall exactly. Must have been at least a couple of months or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty.
Maybe longer than that, I think.
All right. So what time did you get transferred up to the 388th Bombardment Group at Nettishaw? When did you join them up there?
Well, let me see. The crew was formed in Tampa, Florida.
Okay.
We did our training there.
Okay.
In B-17s as a crew, and then and we did a lot of the practice runs on bombing.
Okay.
And,
Yes, sir.
working together, and we're learning how to shoot the target, etc.
Okay.
And the pilot's job was to try and keep the airplane low so they could do what they were supposed to do.
Okay.
And after that, we were put on the train and sent to Savannah, Georgia.
Alrighty.
And at Savannah, Georgia, I picked up what was then basically a new model of the B-17, which was the B-17G.
Okay. G model.
And
Do you remember the date of that? The date that you went up when they trained you up to get your new plane?
I don't recall when that was. No, it would have been sometime. Must have been in maybe in August or September of. Probably let's see, 9. No, it would have been probably in June or July we came into Savannah, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we were only here a very short period of
Yeah.
time, so.
June or
just enough
July.
To pull all our baggage together and.
And
get
what
the
year
airplane.
again was that?
That was in 1944.
Okay, June or July 44.
Yeah,
You come up here, you get you issued an airplane,
that's
a
right.
B-17,
Yeah.
and then y'all flew across the Atlantic. Did you fly with other people? Were there other planes, or did you just fly solo to go over across?
We just fly solo.
Okay, all right. And did you go straight to Nettishaw at that time?
After we landed, we left here and went on up to Prestwick, Scotland,
Okay,
and made several stops on the way. But
okay,
yeah, and from there, Prestwick, Scotland, put on a train, sent off to Nettishaw,
okay.
and there you are.
So the plane, you essentially just ferried a plane over there, and that wasn't even your
It
plane?
disappointed the crew no end. But this
Okay,
brand new airplane was not ours.
all right. So you went down to Nettishaw
We
to,
just left it there, and
Okay.
somebody else got it.
somebody else, okay. And so, so by this time, this is like maybe the end of July, you think, by the end of July?
No, I think
44?
then, by then it was to have been 9/44, so,
September 44?
yeah.
That's when you
September
arrived,
44,
okay.
uh-huh.
And who were your crew members? Starting with you, were you as a pilot?
I was a pilot, I had a co-pilot, it was Charles Iflin,
Okay,
and then the navigator was Orest Lido,
okay,
and the bombardier was Bob Howell,
okay,
and the engineer was Bill Roner.
okay,
And then we had two waist gunners. One was the cousin of Orest Lido. His
Okay.
cousin was Lou Lido. And the other one, name I can't recall his first name, was Lewis,
Okay.
Lewis. And then the tail gunner was Bob Walters.
okay, all right. And then, the turret gunner?
Oh, the third gunner, yes, that's right, was, then we had a radio operator.
Yes, sir.
Mahone, and Gerlach was our, he was the bullet gunner.
Okay,
Yeah.
all righty. All right, so this is by September 1944 that you gotten there.
We got there, yes, somewhere in that
Okay.
neighborhood, yeah.
That was your
you
crew.
know.
And how soon did you get an aircraft assigned to you?
Not right away. First of all, we were assigned to one group,
Okay,
and the 561st.
all right.
We
That's
sort
smarter.
of wandered around in that. They didn't have enough places to put us, or there was something, and we got all checked in, became members of the 561st, and then all of a sudden they said, no, we need to have you over in the 560th. So
Okay.
we transferred over to 560.
560, okay.
That's right.
And at that time, is that when you got a permanent aircraft by that point, or were you still? floating?
Never a permanent aircraft.
You never got a permanent by that time?
No, we never had one.
All right,
They gave us, usually the crew that came in green like that, they gave them the worst piece of equipment there was.
okay.
Because if they're gonna wreck it, why, wreck a good one.
Yeah, don't
I
wreck it.
suppose, I don't
I
know.
don't know, you tell, it's kind of like, Ray gets his priority, so they get to
That's
get, I
right.
guess the newer ones that come in are the better ones. I guess.
Right, exactly, that's exactly the way it worked.
Replacement crews get the replacement, they don't get the replacement planes.
No.
So, okay. All right, so collectively, throughout that time period, from September 44 up through, May of 45, do you know how many bombing missions, or how many missions y'all went on altogether?
35.
35, okay.
Mhm. We started out at 25,
Okay,
and they said they haven't got enough crews. So we're all gonna stay a little longer.
okay, all righty. And-
Which didn't make the crew very happy, but
No. Were you able to get all 35 in
yes.
before the war ended? Okay.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
And you stayed after that, though? You continued on?
Oh, yeah, because the war was still going on.
Okay,
So after that, we were, I and my co-pilot were flown home,
okay,
and I went into Air Transport Command, which was located in Long Beach, California.
okay,
And the next move was to go into the, which are, did some ferrying of aircraft from place to place,
Okay.
which, and the next thing was to be assigned to Homestead, Florida, where I was running the airline pilot training program that they had there.
Okay. When they transferred you to Air Transportation Command,
Yeah, okay.
when was that? Do you remember that date or that time period?
Well, that would have been, let's see, must have been, no, I can't recall that date exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it was after the war had ended in Europe?
No, the war had
No,
not
the war
ended
was
in
still
Europe,
going
no.
on in Europe. Okay,
Yeah.
so this would have been like even before May or even April, before April
Yes.
of 45?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Oh, yes, yes. Uh-huh.
okay. Well, let
The
me
war was
ask,
still going on in Japan.
beg your pardon?
The war was still going on in Japan, you know.
Okay, yes, sir, I kind of figured that. Kind of figured that. So, but you didn't ever get involved with the war in the Pacific, did you?
The only part that I got involved in is I was in, as I said, in the air transfer company. I think maybe one time, originally, no, it did not. I was going to say it was called MATS, but MATS came, I think, after
Came a
that.
little bit later, yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So, I was assigned to a group out of Travis Air Force Base in
Okay,
California. Our job was to bring the wounded back from, and about the time that I was assigned to Travis, the war ended in Japan.
okay,
It was like a week or so later, less than that, I think, that we were on our way out to get to Japan itself.
okay,
So actually, when I arrived in that Sugi Air Base, it was still being guarded by the Japanese. And
okay.
the only Americans there were a lieutenant and two sergeants, and there we were.
Okay. Well, let me get back about in regards to the bombardment group. What was your most memorable or most interesting event that occurred while you were doing that? You had any particular mission that you went on that was?
Oh, I think probably the most memorable was when we took out a fire truck.
Okay. You blew up a fire truck?
Well, almost.
Was it ours or theirs?
It all occurred when we came back from a mission,
Okay.
got ready to land, and someone didn't run through the checklist properly,
Okay.
and we forgot to put the accumulator in operation again.
Okay.
So I went to put the brakes on, and there weren't any.
Okay.
And we were coming up pretty fast on the end of the runway, and fortunately, the plane that was ahead of us just turned off. And when you come around, you'd circle in with your squadron, huh?
Okay.
And each plane would then peel off, you know, and come around. So
Okay.
we sort of landed. We sort of ended off at the end of the runway, and I kicked it around and came to rest with a propeller went right through the fire truck,
Cool.
like that. Shut her down, and that was it. So you could say that we were able to at least claim one victory. That was a fire truck.
Okay. Not too bad, huh?
Not too bad.
Did you have any other, collectively of all the different missions, did you have any major issues or major attacks from fighters during that time period?
Oh gosh, when we first went over, the first probably 5 missions, we had no fighter protection.
Okay.
The P-47s were just not able to keep up with us. They'd see us across the channel and maybe a little ways on the route, and then from then on we were on our own.
Okay, you're on your own.
And then,
But did you have much of the Luftwaffe pestering y'all?
oh yeah, all over the place. And that was for the first jet airplane I came across.
Okay.
And then they had ME-262, I think it was called,
Okay.
which was a German rocket plane.
Yes, sir.
And when they let off, you could just see this trail come straight up like that. They just went right over the top of us like that. And I think they're capable of making one pass, and that was about it.
That's about it?
Yeah.
Okay. But you never suffered any major damage to your airplanes?
Well, yeah, we got shot up a number of
Oh,
times,
okay.
yeah.
Just trying to get you to elaborate a little bit about that.
Okay, all right. Well, in one of our missions, and I can't tell you which one I
Okay.
call it, but the bombardier navigator were hit in one of by flak.
Okay.
And wounded, and then the next one was occurred. I was stopped right there. Though. Bill Roner, who was our engineer at the time, was
Yes, sir.
Came right out of his gun turret, got down there, got the boys opened up, and so they could get the shrapnel, or at least to stop the bleeding.
Okay.
And so he did a good job there. And then on another mission, we were headed out, and we were hit by friendly fire, and the waist gunner Lulito was shot in the head.
Okay.
And so there.
Did he survive, or?
He survived.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was Bill Roner who was else got back there and put the bandage, did his little first aid program on him.
Okay.
And we had to abort that mission because I couldn't possibly take the guy to the target when he's practically bleeding to
Yes.
death. And that was for me. They were not very happy with me because, unfortunately, I did not drop the bombs, which is what they wanted you to do, out in the channel. I just came back.
Came back with them on.
And we landed, took the whole runway, got him off the thing, and of course then the ground crew we've got all these bombs on board this thing, huh? So they have to go through and disarm them all. And,
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
It's
because
probably
we
tricky.
armed them already when we started to cross the channel.
It's a tricky proposition. That's
Yeah.
why they want you to dump them back out.
And that was then, and then again on another time, I can't recall the exact time, that was either the radio operator was hit badly,
Okay.
and Bill Roner, our engineer, was again there to bandage them all up and make sure that
Okay.
in that particular case he had to put the guy's eyeball back in its socket, and his arm was almost shot off, but fortunately Bill didn't take out the flak, and so when they
Okay.
got him to the hospital when we returned, why they were able to.
Yeah, that's kind of what they kind of teach you to do, just leave it in there. It's better
Yeah.
because at least it blocks.
Well, he would have bled to death
Yeah.
if we'd have taken him out. Yeah.
right.
So it did cut the circulation off in the arm, but fortunately, just before they were about ready to remove it, the nurse said, "I guess this is only what the doctor told us. They got a pulse on it." And
Okay.
yeah.
Got lucky there. So, but basically, you're pretty lucky that your crew, you had no fatalities on your. With
No
your crew?
fatalities, no.
Okay, so that's pretty good.
No.
So then, okay, so now we're pretty much, you've got your 35 missions, and you and the co-pilot, y'all came back, they flew you back to do, did both of y'all end up doing air transport?
No,
Just-
I'm rather hazy about this, but
Okay,
something was going on between the military and the commercial airlines.
okay,
And I think the commercial airlines needed pilots. And I didn't have that choice, but he had that choice.
okay,
And so he joined Eastern Airlines as a co-pilot. And eventually Charles ended up as the chief pilot for Eastern Airlines.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right. But you went on to stay active duty for a while. But
Yes.
Didn't you eventually end up in that program? You end up after the war in Japan came to an end, you did some ferrying, and didn't you end up back at that cross transition training school?
No, but I think
It was a different program.
no. Yes, the final end was. They had one time they'd asked me that I could become a major in a big hurry if I would just join a new bomb group that was being formed with this new bomber that no one seemed to know anything about.
Okay.
And I thought, really don't need to do that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So how long were you actually in the Army Air Forces?
Let me see. I'm trying to say that I think I got out in about May of '46, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was the end of your flying career with the active duty or the military?
Yes, that's right. I went to reserve, but Hamilton Air Force Base was the only place that was nearby for me, and
Okay.
they only had P-40s rather.
Okay.
So,
All right. So how long were you in the reserves?
you know, I don't recall that I was ever drilled out of the reserves, but you know, I was transferred to Seattle and with my company, and I think that's where it all sort of ended right there.
Okay. And what did you do after you left the military? What
I
civilian
went back
career?
to university.
Okay.
Yeah, got my degree.
Okay. And what was your degree in?
Aeronautical engineering.
Okay. And what university did you get that from?
University of California Polytechnic in San Luis Obispo.
Okay. Alrighty. And then you said you got transferred up to Seattle. Who did you end up working for?
Oh, I went working, you couldn't find a job as a pilot or as a, because I used to work for Pan American.
Okay.
And they didn't need any people, and nobody needed aeronautical engineers anymore. They weren't building any airplanes.
Okay. They were done doing that.
And that was right. And so I had to feed myself and put a roof over the head. And so I went to work for Standard Oil Company in California.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Standard Oil.
Later became Chevron.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then you did that for the rest of your life.
I did that for the rest of my life.
And then you retired. When did you retire from working? Remember?
1985.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
About August or September, I can't recall.
Okay. Cool. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share about your career with the 388 Bombardment Group Heavy, or the military, or?
Well, I don't know that I need to say a whole lot other than to say that, you know, fortunately I had a very excellent crew.
Yes, sir.
Our crew was just great, and in fact, the little plaque out here at the 388th, for the Air Force is there. I think that the navigator who was gung-ho on all of this, his little name is the best of the best.
Okay. Y'all were the best of the best? Or you got voted best of the best, or you've been declared best of the best? Okay. There was a question. Did y'all get any credits for shooting down any Luftwaffe fighters?
You know, I don't think so.
Okay.
If we did, I don't recall that meeting.
Okay, you don't remember?
One thing we did do, which was rather interesting, because of a situation that occurred, we were ready to take off one day on a mission to the I think it was into the Rhine area, I think of them. And anyway, we lost all of our oxygen in the back of the airplane. So the tower just said, take those people off. We need to have you go. And the airplane was already loaded on the end of the runway, and so while the engines were still turning over, we got rid of everybody from the radio operator back, huh? And
so you launched without a tail gunner?
No tail
No waist gunners?
Oh, no waist gunners, no.
And no
We had a ball turret gunner, and he couldn't get in the ball yet.
Okay.
And so anyway, we left on that mission, and it was an interesting one because the bolt turret gunner who got into the ball,
Okay.
he was only had an oxygen bottle on, huh? So he was a pretty small guy to get in the ball turret with an oxygen bottle on, huh? And of course, as you know, you have to find out if everybody's on the airplane's got they're still working, huh? Okay, and you know, they got communications with
Yes,
each
sir.
and everyone. And we were on a mission we were on the mission for a while, and all of a sudden, we didn't get anything out of Gerlach. He was in the ball, and
Okay.
so that's where Roner rushed back there, couldn't locate him, so he got the thing and cranked the ball outside around, and Gerlach was about gone, because
Okay.
what had happened was that something had happened to his little oxygen bottle over there.
Okay.
So Roner took his own oxygen off, put it on him, got the guy a little bit coming around, hauled him out of the ball, and we didn't do that again.
Yeah, I would think that would be kind of dangerous.
Yeah, it was kind of exciting, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were hit pretty heavy with flak on that particular trip, but it was at low altitude. I think we were about 12,000 feet.
Okay.
Another time we had was with the Battle of the Bulge, and we went in at very low altitude there,
Okay.
something like 10,000 feet or something like that.
All right.
And that gave an opportunity for, dropping bombs. But the ball turret gunner, he was able to point the gun straight down.
Do some strafing.
That's
Going
right.
by.
He just skate strafing as he went by. Yeah. Yeah.
That reminds, since you mentioned that, did you participate in any of the bombing runs that they did to help the people at Bastogne? The 101st that was surrounded.
That was
Bastogne?
it. That was
the mission.
That was the
you
Battle
called
of the Bulge.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Mhm.
right. Yeah, because I understand we did that. So you
Yeah.
participated in at least that mission series
Yes.
where they. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool. All right.
And,
Anything else?
I
Okay.
can't think of anything else that.
Okay.
I guess one of the interesting things about maybe when we're still a green crew, and they usually put the green crew in tail end Charlie, which is so they wouldn't get into any trouble there.
Yes, sir.
Run into anybody.
Okay.
And I think we hadn't started the bomb run yet. Where the target was to our right, and we were getting ready to make a turn there, but not yet. When someone, I guess one of the waist gunners, says, "Boy," you could see all the flak coming up. "Look at those guys over there. They're really getting the hell kicked out of them,
Okay.
And so then it was a runner who said, "Well, buddy, that's where you're going."
That's where we're fixing to turn.
And we did.
Yeah. Turn right into it. What else are you
Yeah.
going to do, right?
Found out what that was all about.
Okay. All right.
Another, probably one doesn't remembers the funny things that may have happened that,
Remember the serious stuff.
another serious stuff, to forget that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, listen, thank you very much for your
Well, you're
time.
most kind.
And
Yes,
appreciate
thank you very
you.
much for taking the opportunity to
Yes, sir.
put this all together.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to be talking with Mr. Romer tomorrow.
Oh, good,
I'm going to
fine.
be interviewing him. So I'm going to
Yeah.
be able to verify your statements.
Yes.
Okay.
You can verify that he was part of the checklist that didn't work on
All right.
on the fire truck.
All right. We'll ask him about that. Okay. Very good. Well, thank you very much.
Okay,
And I'm going
fine.
to shut it down right